So the Edmonton Oilers just lost in the Stanley Cup Finals to the Florida Panthers, and they were so close to bringing back the Stanley Cup to Canada for the first time in well over 30 years. But unfortunately, it was not meant to be. Now, you guys know the deal. 5 years for a rebuild. We got to win them a Stanley Cup in those 5 years, which we should be able to do with the roster that we have. I went ahead and almost rebuilt every single team that got eliminated in the postseason. And now my Edmonton Oilers are up next. Let's go ahead, take a look at the contract, see what we are working with, and see if we are able to win Edmonton a Stanley Cup for the first time since the Mark Messier era. So now as we take a look at the contracts, obviously McDavid makes the most on the team, 11.4. His contract is up in 2 years. Draisaitl has his contract up in 1 year, I believe. We got to re-sign Bouchard in a few seasons. Nuge is locked up long-term. Darnell Nurse. Now, Darnell, he is an 86 overall in this game, but he makes $8.4 million, but $9.25 in real life. I'm probably going to end up trading him. Everybody else here, I mean, Adam Henrique, I might let go unless he wants a cheap deal. He's making 5.3 at only an 82. And we probably need to upgrade our goalie in Stuart Skinner, who's a decent goalie, but I mean, 84 overall, 24 years old. Could be a very viable backup if we grab a starting goalie. Now, since I can't make a trade with anybody for Darnell Nurse, I'm going to have to go after Mackenzie Weegar. He's an 87 overall, higher than Darnell. Makes less money, threw in some picks to make sure this trade will go through, and finally I got a trade to be accepted. I've been sitting here for like 15-20 minutes making trade after trade after trade and just getting rejected just like I did about every girl in high school. Okay, that might have been a little too deep. Next up is going after Logan Stankoven. He grows to like an 84-85 overall in like 3 years for Connor Brown and a few picks, and luckily Dallas had no problem accepting my deal. Now, since the Florida Panthers do have Sergei Bobrovsky already, I will be trading Skinner for Spencer Knight, threw in 2 first-round picks, a prospect, and another pick, and let's see. Thankfully, we made the deal work. So we have Spencer Knight as our new starting goalie, who should be up to like an 89-90 by year 2 or 3. Next up, I'm going after Ryan McDonough, who I know already was traded to Tampa Bay, but he's still on Nashville in this game, for Adam Henrique and some picks. Let's see. And there we go. Nashville organization has accepted my offer. We upgraded our decor also. And I think I might be done for the trades, at least for season number 1. All right, so now as we head into year number 1, this is what our lines currently look like. We got Draisaitl, McDavid, and Kane on that first line. Actually, I will throw up Zach Hyman on there. Then we'll rock Kane, Nugent Hopkins, and McLeod. We got Holloway, Perry, Stankoven, Fogle, Derek Ryan, and Matthias Janmark. And on D, now on D, we are very much improved. We got Ekholm and Bouchard as our top pair, Weegar and McDonough, and then Brett Kulak and Philip Broberg. And in goal, an 84 overall Spencer Knight, who's only 22. He's only going to get better. And we have 81 overall Jack Campbell. So I'm going to shore up my backup goalie right away. Get rid of the Jack Campbell contract for Devin Levi from the Buffalo Sabres. Threw in some picks to make sure this will go through, and it did. And there we go. We upgraded in goal. We have 2 very young goalies who are only going to get better, in all honesty. Now, at the end of the season, we are going to have a great year. 56 wins, 22 losses, 4 in overtime, 116 points. Unfortunately, Vancouver won 60 games in our division, as they are no doubt going to be the best team in the NHL, followed by the Florida Panthers and then the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid is going to have a great year. 51 goals, 133 points, followed by Draisaitl, who had 121, also 45 goals. Nugent Hopkins had 77, Hyman 69, Kane 66. Bouchard didn't have a great season, in all honesty, but he was, I mean, I checked the lines after the trade deadline. He's on the second pair for some reason, even though I have head coach edit lines off. So maybe he didn't get the ice time that he needed to. And Spencer Knight won 51 games with a .912 save percentage at 23 years old. Also 2 shutouts. He honestly might win the Vezina. Connor McDavid is going to lead the entire league in scoring with 133, followed by Draisaitl, who had 121. Big gap then Austin Matthews and JT Miller at 105. Speaking of Matthews, he will put up 69 goals in the regular season, leading all players, followed by McDavid, who had 51, Kaprizov at 47. As predictably, in the first round of the postseason, we are playing the LA Kings for the 3rd year in a row. We got rid of LA in 5 games in the first round, just like in real life, and now in the second round, we have the Vegas Golden Knights. We beat Vegas in 6 games, and now in the conference finals, we battle it out against the Minnesota Wild. We would cruise to the Stanley Cup Finals, beating everybody in either 6 or 5 games, only losing, 3 games all postseason for. 4. We went 12-4, and now in the Stanley Cup Finals, we have to play Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins, which honestly, this could be a passing of the torch to Connor McDavid, finally capturing a Stanley Cup in his career. Obviously, Sid's at the end of his career. Can the Oilers go on and win the Stanley Cup in year number 1? And the Edmonton Oilers in year number 1 have gone all the way, winning the Stanley Cup as we beat Pittsburgh in 7 games. It took us 7 to beat the Pens for some reason. A team that did not even make the postseason somehow gave the Oilers their toughest series of the entire playoffs. Considering we rolled through the Western Conference, we made some upgrades on D and in goal, and it came to fruition as we will be getting the job done here as Connor McDavid takes home the Conn Smythe. 15 goals, 40 points, absolutely monster postseason run. There is a reason why he's the best player in the game today. He's proving it as the Edmonton Oilers. Man, it would have been so sweet raising the Stanley Cup on home ice as we have gone all the way here in season number 1. Come on up, Connor McDavid. For the first time in his NHL career, he's able to raise the Stanley Cup and forever will be a Stanley Cup champion. Now, in the playoffs, obviously, McDavid was our best player, 40 points. The next closest was Draisaitl with 24. Hyman had 20, Nuge 17, Kane had 12, Bouchard 11, and Spencer Knight had a .942 save percentage and 4 shutouts alongside a .190 GAA. Yeah, definitely the right move to go out and get Spencer Knight, who's going to bolster now. He'll probably be up to a 90, maybe 91 by the end of next season. McDavid will take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy, the Maurice Richard to Matthews, the Norris to Cale Makar. Obviously, the Conn Smythe will go to Davo, Thatcher Demko, the Vezina, and the Selke Trophy will go to Anze Kopitar of the LA Kings. So, obviously, we did complete the challenge in only 1 season, but we will be going all 5 here in today's video, boys, trying to create a little mini dynasty here in Edmonton. Obviously, we already have 1 Stanley Cup, and we are built to win a few more, in my opinion. Maybe a few tweaks here and there to our roster. We could go back-to-back, maybe even three-peat. So here in the re-sign phase, we do got to get back Philip Broberg, who's up to an 81 overall, already 23 years old, but I am going to qualify him considering he's an RFA. Corey Perry and Janmark, and Spencer Knight is signed, so we really don't have to do anything different, as most of our guys are locked up, and we have a ton of cap space, $14 million. In the offseason, we went out and got James Van Riemsdyk on a pretty cheap deal. He's an 84 overall. And we also got a big gun in Vladimir Tarasenko on a 1-year deal at $8.5 million. So if we can't re-sign him next season, he can just go back to free agency. But now we are bolstered heading into next season, trying to go back-to-back. Now heading into the second season, we definitely upgraded on offense. We got Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman +5 with Tarasenko, Nugent Hopkins, and Kane a +3. Our third line is even better with Fogle, McLeod, and JVR. Then we got Hamblin, Holloway, and Stankoven. Now, defensively, we still have Ekholm and Bouchard. Bouchard's up to a 91 now. Weegar and McDonough, and then Kulak and Broberg. And in the net, 2 great goalies and an 89 Spencer Knight and 85 Devin Levi. Both very young as well, so the Oilers are set up for the future to be absolutely dominant. Well, the Edmonton Oilers cruised through the regular season, 61-17-4, 126 points, best in our division and for the entire NHL. It was not even close. Vancouver came in second with only 49 wins and 103 points. McDavid put up another monster season, 59 goals, 154 points. Draisaitl had 45 and 106. Bouchard had a big season, 82. Nugent Hopkins, 78. Hyman, 76 and a 30-goal season. Tarasenko was pretty good. And if we take a look at Spencer Knight, a .917 save percentage, 52 wins and 6 shutouts. Yeah, this man is going to definitely win the Vezina Trophy. Devin Levi only played 14 games, but was good in those games. Connor McDavid will lead the entire NHL in goals with 59 and points with 154. Shout out to Brad Marchand, having a great season at 36 years old, 31 goals, 111 points. And in the first round of the playoffs, we are up against the Arizona Coyotes. We got rid of Arizona in 6 games, and now we got to play the San Jose Sharks, another team that we should be able to absolutely roll here in the second round. Although you never truly know with the simulation. Somehow San Jose pushed us to 7 games, but luckily we won it. And now in the conference finals, we are going to face the Dallas Stars, a rematch of 2 years ago in real life, or actually 1 year ago in real life. And sadly, we are not going to be able to go back to back as Dallas beats us in 5 games. They were clearly the better team this series. We just really didn't perform the first three. Losing the first three games is diabolical work. Dallas would end up going on and beating Tampa Bay in 5 games to capture the Stanley Cup. In the playoffs, McDavid was good, 12 goals, 28 points. Draisaitl had 20, Bouchard 14, and Nuge 12. What did Spencer Knight do here? He had a .930. He's literally one of the best playoff goalies, really, of all time. Starting out, I mean, Florida 2021 had a .933, .942 last season, and now a .930. McDavid will dominate all the individual awards. The Norris will go to Quinn Hughes, the Conn Smythe to Robo. Spencer Knight will win the Vezina, and the Selke to Sidney Crosby. Now in the re-sign phase, we got JVR back. Devin Levi got re-signed. Ryan McLeod rejected the offer. Now in the offseason, I'm going to make a blockbuster deal. Hyman 2 first, McDonough and a second for William Karlsson and Noah Hannafin from the Vegas Golden Knights. And Vegas had no problem doing that deal. Now, as we head into year number 3, we got Draisaitl, McDavid, and Stankoven on that first line, then Tarasenko, Nuge, and Kane. I got JVR, William Karlsson, a great third-line center with Warren Foegele, and then Lavoie, Holloway, and Hamblin on the fourth line. Now, defensively, Broberg and Bouchard are the top pair. Then we got Weegar, Hannafin, Ekholm, and Kulak. And in goal, a 90 overall Spencer Knight and a 90 overall Devin Levi. So we have 2 90 overall goalies. Although Levi could be trade bait at the trade deadline, considering his deal is up in the offseason. He still will probably be an RFA, but he'll want more money. And I mean, if we could get something back for him, that would be perfect. I can't believe I didn't realize this sooner, but we literally have Ryan McLeod in the AHL right now. He's not played a single second in the NHL. So I'm definitely going to have to fix that right quick. We're literally at the trade deadline too, so my bad, Ryan McLeod. Now, at the end of the season, we're going to have a great year. 51 wins, 26 losses, 5 in overtime. Second in our division for the entire NHL. The Florida Panthers were the best, winning 54 games. But luckily, we were top 4 in the entire league. Connor McDavid will put up 46 goals, 120 points. Draisaitl only had 96 and 41 goals, so a little bit of a downgrade. Nugent Hopkins had 72, Bouchard 71. Stankoven had a big year, 25 goals, 65 points on that first line. And if we take a look at Spencer Knight, he rocked a 9-12. Oh, wait. Knight only played 40 games while Levi played 46. We probably should have dealt him at the deadline. That's my bad. But I mean, Spencer Knight will be our starter going into the postseason. 23-13 and 3-1 shutout and a .915 save percentage. McDavid will lead everybody in scoring with 120 points, and Matvei Michkov will lead in goals at 21 years old, puts up 64 on the season. An absolutely monster year by Michkov. As in the first round of the playoffs, we are up against the Anaheim Ducks. We got rid of the Ducks in 6 games, and now we have the Minnesota Wild in round number 2. Dominated Minnesota in 5 games, and now the Colorado Avalanche in the conference finals. Sadly, we lost in Game 7, 3-2 to the Colorado Avalanche, as Colorado would go on and win the Stanley Cup, beating Florida in 6 games in the finals. Now for the postseason, McDavid was electric, 16 goals, 32 points. Draisaitl only had 19, but he did have 11 goals. Nugent Hopkins had 17, and what did Spencer Knight do? A .924 save percentage. So he's been very good in the postseason every single time. McDavid will take home the Ted Lindsay Art Ross Hart Trophy. Michkov, the Maurice Richard. The Norris will go to Quinn Hughes. Cale Makar, the Conn Smythe. Bob will win the Vezina. And the Selke Trophy will go to Sidney Crosby yet again. Now heading into our second last season of the video, we still have Draisaitl, McDavid, Stankoven. We got Tarasenko alongside Nuge and Karlsson. Now on the third line, I got Ryan McLeod centering it with Stenlund. Actually, I'll throw up Dylan Holloway on the third line instead, alongside Hamblin. And then our fourth line isn't the greatest defensively. Broberg and Bouchard. Bouchard's up to a 93. Weegar's an 87 alongside Hannafin. And then we have Ekholm and Munzenberger. And then, of course, in goal, a 90 overall Spencer Knight and a 90 Devin Levi, who I will be trading. I don't want Spencer Knight splitting the games. I want Spencer Knight playing the entire season. All right, so we're going to be giving up Matthias Ekholm and Devin Levi for Nicholas Hague and Andronov, who is a pretty good starting goalie. He's like 79 overall, very young guy, and Arizona had no problem accepting that offer. At the end of the season, we would end up finishing with a record of 50, 27-5, 105 points. Vancouver best in our division and the best in the entire league. McDavid is going to have his best season of his career. 57 goals, 101 apples for 158 points. Draisaitl had 55 goals, 148 points. Bouchard had 82. Stankoven, 68. Nuge, only 55, but he did have 30 goals. Tarasenko was kind of quiet. And for goalies, Spencer Knight, only a .908 save percentage, although he had 7 shutouts and 50 wins on the season. Obviously, McDavid will lead in goals with 57 and points with 158. As we play the San Jose Sharks in the very first round, we got rid of San Jose in 5 games in the first round, and now we have Vancouver in round number 2. Dealt with them in 6 games, and now we have the Colorado Avalanche in the conference finals. Finally, we are back in the Stanley Cup finals, this time up against the New Jersey Devils, who do have a prime Jack Hughes probably by this time in 2027. So, can the Oilers go on and win their second cup of the video, or will they fail in the Stanley Cup finals? The Edmonton Oilers just completed the greatest comeback in NHL history, down 0-3 to the Devils in the finals, just like they are in real life to the Panthers. They won 4 straight and get to raise the Stanley Cup on home ice. I cannot believe it. Maybe this is a sign for what's to come in real life, and maybe this video won't even see the light of day. But man, oh man, GM Pasta grabbing his second Stanley Cup with the Oilers. Now for the Conn Smythe, it will go to Leon Draisaitl, 17 goals, 41 points. A monster postseason run by him. As there it is, the Stanley Cup waiting to be presented to the Oilers yet again for the second time in the video. As here comes Connor McDavid, making all of his dreams come true. 2 Stanley Cups to his resume, as the Edmonton Oilers have gone all the way here in the maybe the final season of the video. I mean, we already built somewhat of a mini dynasty, 2 Stanley Cups in 4 years. That is a W in my book. Now, in the playoffs, obviously, Draisaitl was our MVP, 41 points, 17 goals. McDavid was good himself, 14 goals, 36 points. Nugent Hopkins at 29, Tarasenko, 22. Bouchard had 19, Carlson 18, and if we take a look at Spencer Knight, only a .906 save percentage, so by far his worst playoff run of this video. Check out his stats other than that. He's down to a .925 now, but .933, .942, .930, and a .924. What a run in the playoffs it was for Spencer Knight. Connor McDavid again is going to do Connor McDavid things. The Norris will go to Quinn Hughes, the Conn Smythe to Leon Draisaitl, Sorokin will win the Vezina, and the Selke again to Crosby. And that is going to do it for this video. I have gone ahead, completed the challenge, also winning 2 Stanley Cups in 4 years for the Oilers, so not only completing it, but blowing it out of the water. And I mean, there you go, boys. It was just a quick little video. And I mean, there you go. Hopefully this video will not even see the light of day, and the Oilers can't come back in this series against the Florida Panthers. But regardless, if you guys are seeing this, obviously we have lost and did not win the Stanley Cup. So I would like to say thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.